Welcome to the Minnesota Regional Prevention Coalition video series. This series is brought to you by the Minnesota Regional Prevention Coordinators and the Minnesota Department of Human Services Alcohol and Drug Division. My name is Dr. Bill Geary, and this video series is hosted by Global Evaluation Solutions. This series is designed to help Minnesota prevention coalitions improve their understanding of evaluation. So let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about an important piece of your coalition's success, finding the right evaluator for your initiative. To do that, today's agenda includes what are some of the basic skills you should look for in an evaluator, what to include in a position announcement for an evaluator, where you should start looking for an evaluator, some basic tips on developing a contract, and we will close with a summary and some next steps. Before searching for an evaluator, you should have some understanding of the basic skills you need to bring to the initiative. Within the wide array of skills, there are 5 that are considered particularly important. These include framing evaluation questions, developing evaluation designs, defining evaluation methods, analyzing and interpreting data, and reporting evaluation findings and results. Of course, there are a host of other skills that evaluators should have, and we'll cover these later in the video. One of the first steps to finding an evaluator is to create a position announcement. The announcement format is pretty standard and should include the job title, the type of position, a project summary, a summary of the position, both desired and preferred qualifications, job responsibilities, and contact information for applying. So now, let's talk about how this applies to finding a coalition evaluator. Evaluators can specialize in particular kinds of projects, so choosing the correct title can help them focus their expectations for the position. Coalition Evaluator, Substance Abuse Prevention Evaluator, and Community Initiative Evaluator are sometimes used and may indicate differing expectations. As for position, many coalitions use part-time contractors or consultants. Finally, providing background information will help potential applicants understand your evaluation context. Be sure to include a description of your organization, where you are located, your organization's goals and activities, and information regarding the background of your primary funding streams. Understanding the sources of your resources will be an important indication for your evaluation expectations. The position portion summarizes the expected role the evaluator will play within your coalition. This section should also describe your expectations on evaluation outcomes and the services that you expect the evaluator to provide. Qualifications typically include a description of any degrees or certifications. For coalition work, it's often a good idea to seek out candidates with degrees rooted in the social sciences. Requiring someone with an advanced degree or certification may also be a good idea since it may demonstrate a higher level of technical skills. Another important qualification, of course, is experience. Generally, more years of experience is associated with an increased ability to meet client needs and manage different kinds of situations. You will also want to know what the candidate has been doing in their time in the field. Who have they worked with? What kinds of communication processes have they used with other clients? Finally, feel free to include language relevant to personality traits that match your coalition's style. Personality traits might include language such as self-starter, having a good sense of humor, or ability to manage conflict. Another key area is a detailed list of responsibilities. I would recommend making a list of all the different ways you think a good evaluator can help your coalition. At the very least, you should include the 5 skill sets described earlier. These skill sets are derived from research on evaluation best practices and are viewed as key ingredients to an effective evaluation. Finally, the position announcement should include information on how to apply for the position, including contact information for those who have questions. Of course, you will want their CV or resume, some kind of written statement or cover letter that might include a discussion of their overall approach to evaluation. You may also want to ask for examples of previous work or templates that they use. It's also a good idea to get a list of references or have the applicant provide letters of recommendation. Also, don't forget to tell applicants how they should submit these materials through email, dropping them off, mail, etc. Finally, don't forget to include the application deadline. Experienced evaluators will not require a lot of time typically to submit a good application, and remember that the application is only the first step. You will want to follow up with interviews and allow time for the coalition to carefully examine the materials. Now that you have a good position announcement, you have to think about how you will want to get the word out about the position. National resources like Indeed.com or the American Evaluation Association will increase the breadth of your search to include applicants who are not in your immediate area. With increased technology, it is not uncommon to select evaluators from outside a coalition's geographical area, since many evaluation tasks do not require the evaluator to be local. It's important to balance the desire to have someone nearby with the increased skill and experiences that may come from non-local evaluators. There are also a variety of resources specific to Minnesota. For example, nearby colleges or universities. This is particularly helpful if they have a major or department relating to public health program evaluation. The Minnesota Evaluation Studies Institute, as well as the Minnesota Council of Nonprofits, have job boards for posting announcements. In addition, the Minnesota Evaluation Association, or MNEA, has a directory of evaluators in Minnesota. Please remember that the MNEA directory is voluntary and self-selected, so it does not include every evaluator in the state. Finally, perhaps the best place to start the job search is by contacting your local regional prevention coordinator. They are more than happy to share their experiences working with coalitions and how those coalitions have managed evaluation issues and consultants. The final step of selecting an evaluator is developing the evaluation contract. A good first step here might be to ask potential clients for a sample contract they've used. Any evaluation contract should include an introduction that briefly describes the parties, background information on what the client's needs are, a clear indication of what both parties will provide, and the amount and scheduling of compensation. Evaluation contracts should also include a clarification of who owns the data and if or how the consultant can use that data on their own. Within that, there should also be a statement of ethics regarding both general ethical behavioral expectations as well as any privacy issues. Finally, there should be explicit information on how the contract can be modified or how either party can get out of the contract. Before we get to next steps and resources, let's summarize. We provided 5 basic skills that can act as a starting point when deciding what you need an evaluator to do. We then described some specifics on the selection process, including where to look for evaluators, and we then briefly discussed the elements of an evaluation contract. Let's turn our attention to next steps before talking about resources you can use to learn more about this topic. The place to start for most coalitions is to form a working committee for the hiring process. Including others in the process helps assure that the evaluator comes into the process with enhanced legitimacy. Including others also helps to make sure that stakeholder concerns about an evaluator are heard and addressed before an evaluator is selected. Finally, a working committee will spread the work out and promote open communication regarding the process. Another important step is to contact your local regional prevention coordinator. We've said this before, but your RPC not only understands the evaluation needs expressed by other coalitions in Minnesota, they also have access to sample materials, templates, and worksheets that accompany this video and the other videos in this series. Be sure to create a customized list of qualifications that you think best match your community and coalition needs. It's also a good idea to develop a checklist or rubric for scoring applications once they start coming in. This will provide a more efficient and objective method of managing applications. Finally, the first step for the working committee should be to develop timetables and specific roles. Here are some links to help you explore any of these topics further. The second resource on this list from the CEA is particularly helpful for prioritizing which skills and qualifications you would like to focus on for your community. Of course, please feel free to reach out to your local Minnesota RPC or contact us for clarification or more information. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about this video or any other coalition issue, please feel free to contact us. I know that coalition work can be very challenging, but please remember the words of the Eagles who sang, "Take it easy, don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy." Be well, everybody.